So maybe I'll be walking around and taking it myself back to the house as we're in round number 7. We got
Wow.
TFM K Hotic versus Tim Scarrow is going to be our round 7 matchup.
I am. You guys might say, "Do you get deja vu?"
Mm,
Oh, and yeah.
I like that.
Listen, guys. Listen. There's a few good decks, but we're at the point of the day where I'm sorry. There's not a lot of surprises. There might be a few surprises out there we don't know. We don't know
Hmm.
everything. But it's hard, right? The decks that were good are going to do well. These are two undefeated players. Like, look at them; they're kind of having. One of them won't be undefeated after this, but right
Right.
now they're feeling pretty good, sitting high on the hog.
And this is a complete rematch of what the match that we just saw. Even the Lumineers are seated in the exact same seating positions. Amber Steel going to be on your right side of the screen, followed by the Sapphire and Amethyst, the two darlings of our trifecta metagame that we have found ourselves in as we're getting into the thick of it. And going to be on the approach, I believe it will be TFM Chaotic. I believe they won the dice roll. Let you go first. Fist bumps all around.
Yeah, a member of the Forbidden Mountain, or sometimes I call it the Friendship Mountain, because they're actually pretty nice. I don't know what's forbidden about it. They kind of are nice and they collaborate with people. So maybe the Forbidden Friendship is meanness or
Yeah,
something. It's
friendship mountain. I like
the Friendship
I like
Mountain.
I like
Yeah,
the friendship
TFM is
mountain.
still TFM, and it works. But they're sitting here and altering. So what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to be a repeat of Sky's list, or do you think this is a Maverick with a mid range here?
I think Sky has some nice tech choices, some nice includes in that deck. We're talking Fire the Cannons, we're talking Troubadour. I don't think a lot of people are on that technology just yet, and we can see in real time how those cards can affect this type of matchup. And let's see what Tex Tim has to maybe accost this Amber Steel matchup. This is probably your worst matchup, the matchup you're looking to face the least, especially on the draw. So you're going to put that TikTok down to think, well, ooh, I like that little bit of spicy include, more Royal Guard coming your way.
Now, you weren't able to hear the interview, but I did ask Sky about game 3. We saw Mulan into Penny, and that's,
Hmm.
I think, is suboptimal. But I asked him, and he's like, honestly, I'm going first. I don't care. And he said it in a way, he had his sunglasses on still.
Oh, this was
Yeah,
sunglasses Sky. Okay.
this is Villain
That
Sky.
dude.
But he said, I'm on the draw. And, like, honestly, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh, wow, you're freaking out.
Dude.
No freaking out.
Sunglasses Sky is built very, very diff. I don't care is a wild thing to say. Just,
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
I'm
going to
on
win.
first.
I already won the game. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
inevitable. I'm inevitable. I have the blue sunnies.
After getting loose and active, we get this turn 2 play. It looks like you're thinking about maybe setting up this Nala. Potentially, you can go for the Penny as well. You don't, or you can go for your Tiana play. This is your patent pending move.
Yeah.
Is it something worth doing?
It's hard, right? Because I mean, the Nala we've seen to be used as a great success, but he's you love when you have so many choices. You're like, I don't know, what do I do with all these great choices? Because we see a Doc in there. Penny is a good card. We see she changes the math, but she's not necessarily what
Mhm.
you want on turn 2. Especially she's not a princess. Aurora's here to kind of be that princess ramping, and so instead. Nala not a princess. I feel like, does she marry Simba? Did lions get married?
She should have been a princess. I think they for sure do have some type of nuptials there. There is a ceremony, I believe.
Lion King.
Yeah, he is a king. She maybe might be a queen. Is she a queen at least?
Yeah, right. The lion girlfriend. I guess.
I think that's a bit. I think that's a bit unfortunate there. She
She
should
could be
definitely
single.
be a
This could be her
queen.
single era, right? Because before she ran into Simba, she was up
For
to
sure.
some stuff.
And she was getting loose, busy, and active in that interim phase. I
She
believe
was.
you're correct.
She literally was like about to one shot Simba when she saw him. She was like
For
on
sure.
site, and he's like, "No, it's me,
No,
Simba."
no, no.
And he's like,
Relax.
"Oh." So,
I'll relax a little bit.
yeah, but here we go, and now we see it. There is the beautiful princess synergy in play here. Now, he didn't use, or did he use?
He did not use the Aurora. Notably, he has not exerted the Aurora at all. Maybe just trying to hopefully draw into a potential strength of Raging Fire and just get your characters online in time to blast off whatever Tim Scarrow elects to do with this 4-ink turn. If you get to the strength first. So you're selling strength. You don't have it quite yet. But Tim doesn't know that, and he's going to play as if you do. Let's see what character he elects to develop on 4. Maybe it's that Genie coming on in.
Now it's interesting, right? I mean, this is when
Oh.
chat starts kind of debating. I start debating. Hey, when are you going to do this stuff? Because we know
Yeah.
that this deck it has a while before it heats up. But once this Blurple deck, this
Yeah.
Amethyst Sapphire heats up, it is you can't touch it. You gotta get out of it. The top decks are the hottest things in the world. So I do wonder. It feels kind of stressful being like, okay, you gotta start doing stuff here soon. But Chaotic's undefeated, and
Oh.
he's definitely faced this matchup before.
For sure, but we do get to that Jim Deere bodyguard, and I believe you can go Lady Jim Deere, or you can get into this Pluto bodyguard and begin to exert your heavy questing characters. This could be a pretty good turn, but you are now playing around that into the unknown, which is a problematic maneuver, and we will send the guard dog Pluto, all those characters getting loose right there for a mighty quest.
I don't know if Pluto's allowed to be in that zone. I feel like that's a neutral zone in the middle, and I'm like, Pluto,
I like that.
he's in
I like the game within the game, Kate. That's a
It's
great point
true,
you bring
right?
up. They are battling for the controlled territory of the center of the board.
The demilitarized zone has been breached by Pluto, and I like it. It's a good visual thing. It's but kind of stressful for me because I'm like, I don't think we can, because I can't agree whose that is. No one can touch it. It's like the armrest for the middle passenger. But here we go. We have the cards finally sideways, and it's quite a big boost here. Getting up from, well, did he? The lore total will get updated. It will.
And we do have the entity unknown there, electing just to go after that Tiana, getting that pesky, problematic character off the board right now. You think you have the opportunity to get through the Pluto guard dog later on, maybe even right now. You can slam one of your characters in, and you'd have to slam your whole side into the guard dog here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, right? Because into the unknown, you get around the bodyguard with it, but then you kind of think, well, I didn't get around the bodyguard, so now who is going into this Pluto? And it might be Elsa. No,
Finder's Keeper's interesting maneuver there coming in from Tim. Feels like you don't have the pressure, electing to take a turn cycle off to develop a few more cards. No, that's great because now you got 3 challenger. How much strength does this thing have now? I think he might be able to get after the guard dog Pluto on his own now. Very cool play.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that a lot.
The synergy that we hope to see in these rounds, because, you know, when you sleeve up these cards and you play them, you first arrive at okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? But then the more you play with these cards, the more you kind of see the lines, and it kind of, the matrix opens. You're the Queen's Gambit on the ceiling. And so that's why these rounds are a little bit more exciting sometimes, because,
And it's Doc.
That was a lot. We have Aurora into Jim Deere into Doc.
Oh, I love how Katie is physically wincing in pain. As so much has happened as we'll take down the Aurora, taking down the Royal Guard, 1 damage in the process, continue to quest aggressively. Nala getting another 3-piece. You'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, that was yikes. Because, I mean, we've seen Into the Unknown, we've seen Challenging, we've seen Elsa, we've seen Big Elsa, but it's hard to deal with these boards as they run away. And Amber Steel doing the things that we'd love to see. Notably, I ran into Habibi last week, and Habibi is an excellent Steel Song player. And I said, I can't wait to see what you've done with Amber Steel Song. I know it's just Amber Steel. And he said, I'm playing dogs. I said, Habibi is canceled.
You're done, pal.
You'll never work in this town again.
I'm certain he can figure that out. I believe there is a discrepancy with the lore. We're going to get that fixed for the screen for you guys. Thank you guys for being patient. We're at 9. Everything is correct. The players are keeping their lore personally. Just make sure it's translated onto the screen for everyone viewing at home as this Jim Deere bodyguard who has now adopted the neutral zone there.
Yes, he is now. I believe this is possibly a different card game where it's like, all right, he has moved to the location. Will it be contested? But in this case, though, Jim is now there with all the little puppies behind him. I quite love the art on this. And I've loved seeing the bodyguard sleep. There's been some mechanics that we kind of, the game got so powerful, we just were like, who cares about bodyguard? Who cares about support? The other one, resist. We're like, we don't matter because what is be prepared? And now we're like, okay, be prepared is gone, so we can do some stuff with these cards that we maybe stopped doing for a while. Bodyguards are kind of very rarely used, and we see, the damage here we're getting.
So are we going to get after that Nala again? This is a play that we've seen happen quite a few times today. We'll send just enough damage to remove that Nala so she can't get another 3 quests off and play the Basil now. So you have a little bit of support options. And now look at Jim Deere moving back to the home base.
I'm scared.
He's out of the neutral zone.
Quite frankly, I shouldn't have done that. It was scary. Bell used me as a vessel for damage, and I was scared. But yeah, so now we kind of see that the bodyguards are good. However, that's why bodyguards aren't always used, because they can stand there, they can menace, but they truly can't do much about actions unless there's a Pete with them.
Absolutely. And but you're still able to just continue to spam characters to the board and you can quest. And now you're forcing your opponent to engage with that bodyguard, and you might lose them in that challenge, but still you protect your rest of your board and you maybe get more questing. But the issue here on TFM Chaotic side is that all your characters are only questing for 1 right now, and that is not a clean path to victory. You need at least, if all those characters question for a little bit more, I think you feel a bit more comfortable with this position.
Yeah, and I see something in his hand that I personally was like, ugh. Pete used to be such a linear thing. You're like, these are the times I Pete. But now you kind of have your Pete's, you have to be a little judicious with them. We see him inking the Pluto and saying now is the time, because he knows he's going to do a pretty wide questy turn. But the problem is a lot of actions are baked into these characters. So he's not out of the woods if he plays it, but at least advise him some time. And he says, well, while I'm here.
And we're thinking about who we're going to strength, so this might be showing some value of this Dumbo, making the decision a little bit more difficult, going after the Dumbo to kind of break up that evasive threat, or getting after this Bell, who represents a potential takedown of one of your other characters and a potential another follow-on bell trap later. So these are the tough decisions that you have to make here. As I think you might have to get after this Dumbino. What would you do, Katie, in this spot?
Yeah, I mean that Dumbo. We know that these Blurple decks, the biggest scary thing they're going to do in the end game is keep drawing cards because
Mm-hmm.
it seems like every card is a Hades. It seems like every card is the Elsa Spirit of Winter. So I'm personally Dumbo isn't the game winner, but Dumbo can help get you to winning the game. So I don't love going after Dumbo by himself. He's not crazy good, but in this case, you got it because
Yeah.
any more cards, they're all going to be the good ones. It's going to be Finders Keepers, Second Star on the right, every hard draw,
For
and he's going to
sure.
have a full clutch. And he already has two. So any more than that, I'm shaking in my boots. We've got Pete that's going to prevent those card draw cards for at least one turn, and now Tim needs to basically turn this corner and get through this. Let's see, do we have the Lorthalumber? Not
Not yet, not quite yet, but you do have this bodyguard in play who is actually doing something decent. Just like we talked about, he is not the strongest, but he will soak up at least one challenge unless you can do some type of into the unknown play here to send that Jim Deere down to the Inkwell, and then he clears two more characters. But right now, there's a lot of pressure coming your way as you're going to have to start to leg it out. Let's see if you can take down two characters here. You will have to lose your Basil if you were to do that.
Yeah, and Basil, we see. I mean, there's been a lot of weekend or plays this weekend where they're math changers, where basically you make a decision and you're like, but there's this, and so Basil is good at changing the math. He needs some friends, unfortunately, so we're gonna see what friends he got, and he got one right here.
Elsa Basil, that's a tag team combination that is quickly gaining a lot of favor in this metagame. I'm certain that's going to be something that sticks around for persist throughout the entire run of Fabled, as you can send that support onto Elsa right away and take down a 4 character right now. I don't think that's a bad line of play at all. I think just get that Elsa charged up, get your lore in with Basil, and then you can use that bell to finish off whomsoever. Let's see if that's what we like to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because I keep thinking about that first couple turns where he's like, I don't want to quest. And you think about how he's at 13 and he's about to lose some characters here. And you start thinking about like how patience is essential for these decks, but it is something that you always have to make a judgment call of like, okay, is being patient going to be something I regret later? And that's something that can make aggro really hard. And probably why aggro is not the automatic choice for everybody is because it's not as simple as, I go fast.
Yeah.
You have to choose when to go fast and know that sometimes you're going to top deck peak and just kind of hope that that's what you need to do. And I don't think in this case scenario he's feeling very comfortable.
And we're legging it out again. We're running another race. We're taking that 3. And I love that decision to take down that Pete last turn to break up a potential top deck Singer situation. But I think TFM Chaotic is all in on let's just run the race. We'll put down question characters, and hopefully you don't have the outform turn after turn. 2 cards in hand. Resources are getting dwindled for Tim, who's going to be on the approach. We have that Baymax. Look at that. And also another Elsa, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, and that Baymax we've seen come into play a little bit more. It is a legendary here, and it is where you're able to remove damage and then gain some lore. And we know that lore burst is always delicious, especially in these kind of grindy matches where you're like, anything will help right now. That Dumbo has seen a little bit of that, and Baymax is doing it too. And we don't have goats anymore, but we can brew our own goats.
I think we're in a spot, and that second Elsa was a backbreaker. To your point, I think goats, you don't really have the ability to do the whole bounce and gain lore and burst out of there, but you've got a long way to go, and you're using a lot of your powerful cards right now. That's your second copy of Elsa. Your bell is already on the board. You need to clear this thing. I still think TFM Chaotic's position is not that bad. All you need is a dock into a big chain here.
And it's interesting. We always hear they always have the dock until they don't. That's the thing is like they always do until he top decks a Mulan or until he top decks another Aurora. So let's see what he is. Is it always a dock? It is.
It is literally a hamster. Very powerful hamster though.
Yeah.
That's a good card to come off top of that deck. He does quest for 2. It's going to be very difficult to remove. Hades the Infernal Schemer here would be amazing if you can get that done and potentially turn this thing around as Tim is hoping for it off the top of the deck. Second star to the right wouldn't be that bad either.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good scenario for TFM not Chaotic because, like you said, that hamster inside a ball here, the power hamster, he's got that resist. He's a pretty meaty body. Now, that being said, that Aurora, rather, is not probably long for this challenge. So it is something where he just has to stay in it. Right, Tim is at 2, but it's not an easy road, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see.
How much ink are we hanging on to over there? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can't play the Hypnotic Stream to try to dig for that Hades, the Infernal Schemer. You're going to have to try to engage in combat, and hopefully you can get one off the tizzy as we are going to bring that Baymax. We'll heal the bell, gain some lore, and I guess just quest the Glimmers.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it is truly a kind of a race with whatever removal I stumble myself into. So in this case, we're gonna hold on to that hypnotic strength. Don't quite need it yet. You just need to stay in the game, and he knows that chaotic's not coming for him with that hamster.
And you might have to just rip that hypnotic strength now just to get that second draw because you're gonna need a Hades, you're gonna need an out to a character right now, and now you're gonna need an out for two as the Nala is representing Lorthel in play. The power hamster thinking about exerting, or maybe you just pass here. There's no chance you can get two outs.
That is true. I mean, at
Hmm.
the end of the day, these decks. Now you can move damage. I think it's kind of tricky. Is Nala is pretty cool as long as you don't have damage on her. Now she does quest for 2, so she could quest more. So it's one of those things where he has to decide quest or hold. I would
Hmm.
probably be questing.
You're gonna quest. Just put the pressure on right now. Now you're gonna force your opponent to have two answers. One of them to a ready character, which in this strategy are at limited supply. We saw that you couldn't get it done with the Hades last time. What do you have? It is going to be that Madam Mim Elephant.
Which
Don't have enough ink
yeah,
to deploy bounce and do anything with that. So this game might be long in the tooth. You can't cycle one with the hypnotic strength, which I was very surprised you didn't use that remaining ink. But maybe you were thinking you needed that hypnotic strength to take down the power hamster in some type of calculation there. Mathematics is hard for me, Katie.
yeah, I would note that we have done lots of math here, and I
Hmm.
just kind of like I trust you guys. They track their own lore. That's something you might not know about these tournaments. Is sometimes they're like, "Hey guys, the lore is wrong." I'm like, "Look at them. That's on them. You know, we're doing a lot out here, but it can't happen for a myriad of reasons. Sometimes connections, and all that. But
I mean, yeah, for sure. I'm telling. Oh,
oh, here
sorry.
we go. It's happening. This is a turn. Is he gonna win here?
If it's Elsa, you could potentially
That
make
could.
something happen.
Yeah, the Elsa Spirit of Winter, who she's nice in the sense that she can shift if you want to do a
Hmm.
budget Elsa. But I see an elephant. I think.
Yeah, that is not the Elsa Spirit of Winter, and or a Elsa Fifth Spirit, or Elsa other Elsa the Exertion Elsa. What's her name? Who can
Uh,
discard a card, exert there.
Exertion Elsa.
Elsa light on her hooves.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
I'm like, please, JDZ. I just said I'm too
No,
tired, and you're like,
it's Elsa Fierce Protector.
Here we
Shout out to and Jebus is
go.
on
He
fire. Okay,
he
10 out of
actually.
10 for Jebus, by the way.
And fun fact,
I said Elsa light on her hooves, and Jebus is like, I got you, dog. Don't worry.
It's honestly he's a prodigy at card switching. It is. It's kind of like it sounds like we're making fun of him. We're not. He's really good at it. And here we go. We got the TikTok and Madam Mim here. Now he might just be showing him because Madam Mim, when you play, you do have to bounce something back to your hand. So he might be doing that thing you do where you're like, I
Yeah.
think I lost, and you kind of hope your opponent talks it through with you. And in this case, it is a scoop, and that's okay
I-
because we can go to game 2.
For sure. I think in those situations, I think you got to get out of there. Okay. You want to conserve time, especially in these situations. You don't want to be taking unnecessary draws. If you know the position's lost, just get up out of there, huh? And get on into that next game. You're going to be on the play this time. That is a very advantageous position for you. If it's lost, don't try to. Don't, and also, granted, the deck list might be available there, but as you drag these lost positions on into these deep water
Yeah.
situations, you're just giving up a lot of your information. Maybe you didn't know how many TikToks you had or how many of these things you don't have or the Baymax, that kind of stuff. So I would try to get up out of there a little bit early, but I can't tell Tim anything. He's 6-0 for a reason,
Yeah, right.
and he's in the dojo locked in, okay?
It is, we've been here for 11 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
Some of these players have been here well, maybe longer than that, almost 12 hours for some players. So it does get to the point where it kind of, you can tell the vibe with your opponent too. Some opponents are like, yeah, I'm not here to coach you. Because some people like to talk things through. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like some people love, let's talk this through. What do we got here? But to your point, we have 31 minutes left. Blurple is a control deck at its core, so these games can go pretty long. But I think TFM Chaotic probably knows. He's like, well, I know pretty early on if I'm going to win the game. But we saw, that last match went to best of 3, and it kind of got close to time.
Yeah. I tell him, hey, man, put it in your journal. I don't want to hear about it,
Yeah,
okay?
you put
Shuffle
your
up
bad
and deal,
beats in the
pal.
bad beats book.
Hey, take it out of here, man. Tell it to the judge, all right?
To the judges.
I don't got no
But not
time
like-
for it, pal. Shuffle up and deal, huh?
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's JDZ is known for his hard line attitude. He doesn't take nothing from no one. He is known as the leanest, meanest player in Lorcana, and that's why we love him. Is he seems funny, and then you meet him in real life, he's like, slow play,
Hey, pal. Hey, TikTok, we're on the clock, huh?
back it up. And you're
Get
like,
it going. Shuffle up
wow,
and deal.
wow.
Alter your hand and let's engage, pal.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
like,
I'm
all right,
joking,
the
by the
new
way.
rules say no pile shuffling, please. But here we go. We are. Then, to your point, though, we kind of go back to the point of like showing your hand too much. TikTok, that's a good point. TikTok, buddy. But but we have seen information is so valuable, and I underestimate that as a pretty okay player, I sometimes will be like, oh, all right, I want to talk about this. But these players, you forget, you take for granted. Now that we've talked to some like the best players in the world, they watch everything. They remember everything.
Absolutely.
They'll look at how you hold your hand and see how you're ordering things, and you are
Yes.
on camera
It's
basically.
all that's how these players maintain this level of play for so long, because everything is information, everything is intelligence, everything you do, the things, even things that you don't do. So as these games drag along, you'll see that, hey, I didn't see a fire the cannons, I didn't see this, I saw this bodyguard, I saw this kind of thing, I saw the hamster, and you're building these player packets on your opponent in real time, and the players who are good can do that quicker. So that's why I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try to reserve as much of my own intelligence while collecting as much as I can from my adversary, and that is how you're going to try to gain some type. All of these are skill expressions that people that people have demonstrated. As we got the Royal Guard again on one, haven't missed it once. The Elsa is going down to the Inkwell, so keep a special note of that. I'm sure Chaotic is paying attention.
He's like, thank goodness.
That's one huge threat gone.
One of them. And those, oh gosh, that Elsa, she really makes this challenging meta challenging, right? Like she makes it where sometimes you're like, you know what, I'd like to not be challenged. And she's like, get over here. She's like, get over here. And it's frustrating because a lot of times, I mean, we just talked to this guy in the last match and saying like, you know, why didn't you turn things sideways? Oh, I'm scared.
Oh, sorry.
So the answer is you turn things not sideways because you're like, don't take it. But as we see in Tim's hand, he says, I don't care what you turn sideways or not. I'm coming for you. But yeah, if
No.
you're doing that sound, I'm assuming for Into the Unknown. What else
No,
are we scared of?
that hand, I'm looking at the uninkable situation that's in that hand. I see a Hades.
heal.
I see a second star to the right.
Oh.
I see a genie. I
Oh.
see a lot of uninkability over there as Tim is dreading what are things to come. If you can't figure something out, you're going to need to rip some ink. I guess you can rip into the genie, put the genie down. Let's watch Tim and see that
Into
poker
the
face.
Inkwell.
If he draws another uninkable card, I would tilt into the Spider-Verse. I'd be
Well,
gone, Katie.
And that's something you need to make sure you need those inkables. I mean, it's so exciting, right? But uninkables are uninkable because they're so good. So it can be so exciting because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have Hades. I'm going to have, okay, Tipo, you were so inkable. You were my favorite inkable card. But he can also help with the uninkable situation. He's an ink recycling bin where you are able to actually ink something that is uninkable. So he's like, it's fine.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and get more cards with Genie. It doesn't matter. Is that a treasure? No.
That is, we're going to send that genie, and I love that. Just get Tipo down, not get too cute or fancy. Just keep developing your board and staying calm. You know, you're not demonstrating that your hand is super clogged. You have another inkable card in your hand into the Unknown, but you'd love to play that into the Unknown on maybe a Tiana or maybe even this Nala if it becomes exerted. So you're really hoping you don't have to ink this into the Unknown. You did get that Dumbino who's looking like some high-quality ink, or maybe you can play it on a low-tempo turn, exert this genie just to draw some more cards, potentially.
And here we go. She's a princess. She says, come on down. Now, here's something kind of crazy. Daisy, no quest. And that is so hard to see sometimes because it's hard, right? When you play aggro, you're like, I want to go fast. And you see this and you say like, we're down, what, 6 lore we could have by now? And we don't. But Chaotic has played this all day. He's played against this matchup probably for 2 weeks now. And it's so hard for me sometimes to watch because I'm like, go, come on, go. But he knows that if he can go wide, if he has all these big problems, then it's going to be a little easier, especially with he knows Tiana's coming, which is going to change that match
I like
spectacularly.
Tiana, too. I'm working Tiana in.
We
That's
got
really good.
Diablo and Tiana.
Tiana. I love that.
Trying
That's
to
pretty
pick
good.
her here.
But I think obviously he might also be waiting. If we saw that, I believe he's playing Pete's game. Referee is in the deck, putting a Pete behind a Tiana, and then be able to exert her without that fear of into the Unknown. That's a pretty cool thing that you can do. Also, TFM Chaotic is playing a series of bodyguards as well. So you can play a bodyguard, exert it, and kind of give yourself a little bit of resistance to an into the Unknown, because that is just a devastating play. If he into the Unknowns your Tiana too soon, clears your characters, you will immediately lose the game on the spot. I'm sure he's gone over these lines of plays, understands that, and that is just something that you just can't allow to happen. And so that's why he's probably just trying to take it slow. As we'll go ahead and develop the Dumbino here. Still need an inkable card.
Yeah, he's choosing to not, or I think he will be
Brutality
exerting that
incarnate.
gene here.
He's not going to ink at all.
He's not gonna use that genie to use a Dumbo.
Not going
effect.
to do anything. Not even going to quest the genie.
Which
either.
is interesting because I mean,
Interesting,
it is not a lot of punishing things that could happen if that genie is sideways that I know of.
But looking at Dan's disposition there, he does look like a little bit of tilt as you got a second star to the right. You hate to see it, huh?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, one of the benefits of playing Dumbo off curve, and by off curve we mean not playing on the turn that the cost indicates, is you take that genie and you turn it into a card. Now he didn't quest or draw a card, and then we see TFM Chaotic saying, "I'm going to chaotically build my board spectacularly," and that is going to be a little a little stressful here. And I think that tilting thing, we talk about tilting, and for those who are not indoctrinated,
Hmm.
tilting is when you say, you're freaking me out, dude.
Yeah,
You're doing fine and something's happening. You're like, I can't think straight right now because I'm kind of freaking out by how
for
bad this
sure.
is going.
It snowballs. Like bad things happen to you, and then you start to have your play be affected by what has happened to you, and then it snowballs, and then it starts to multiply. As again, you're doing nothing wrong. Your deck is just failing to function here, as you have braked heavily on the second star to the right. We are going to reveal TikTok, so Daisy will help you out there, giving you a little bit of ink as well as a character that can exchange. But this is looking problematic. This board is massive for TFM Chaotic, as you're going to have to do some uphill climbing. Taking a complete turn off to do absolutely nothing is not how you can close the gap in this matchup for sure.
It is so interesting because sometimes when we say like, "Oh, why didn't you do this?" Our job is to kind of point out like these are things you can do, these things you might not have done. But I cannot express. I mean, like we said, some of these players have been here for 12 hours, some have been here for 10 hours, and I literally looked at the Tiana card and I was like, "Man, I do want to eat there." That's what kind of
Hmm.
happens. You go and you're hungry, you're tired. So, and it's also one of those things. Sometimes we think we're like, "Oh, that was a bad play," and then later they talk about it, and you're like, "Oh." So
I see now.
it's
Yeah.
interesting, but we do see another genie come down, getting more cards. We see a Basil in hand, so he's got a clutch of cards. He's getting answers,
Hmm.
but there's not a lot of answers to a board this wide.
I think you might have to go ahead and deploy that into the unknown now. Probably sending. You got a lot of capable targets there. I still think that Tiana is probably the biggest threat there. You have that Nala who's questing for 3, very aggressive quester there. You have the bodyguard as well. So I think you have to do something. You got to put something into the inkwell for sure. Being on 4 ink feels miserable incarnate.
Yeah, and this is that kind of fun thing where you put down a card, you're like, I know I need to do this. Now what?
And
And that's kind of a bummer here.
And here we are at the precipice where Dumbino, no, we're going to sing with the genie this time. And send that Tiana, and you're going to have to use this Dumbo to exchange in combat. Jim Deere's looking like a viable target to take down. Still representing 2, 5, 7. Ran out of gas. 9 more lore coming your way, pushing yourself up to 16.
Yeah, listen, and we're talking about like fatigue. People in the chat are like, there's no oxygen up here. Such a good point. GDZ
I'm
took
over
up a whole
ripping cans,
can of
too.
it. He literally like, and it's funny because my first time I came to Colorado, I did the same thing. I was like, well, I gotta buy a can of oxygen.
Oh.
And it's interesting. These decks you play it. The more you play it, the better you get. But also the more you play it, sometimes it's like when you drive a car and you forget where you're driving. And I think we're seeing him stay in the game. But I also think Chaotic is saying, this is the chaos I
Mhm.
crave.
But if he didn't miss an ink there, I think he could have potentially clawed back into the spot. Not saying it's over. This position
No.
still is semi-salvageable. But just imagine if you're going into your 7 ink turn and you could slam the Hades, going to your 8 ink turn, bring down
Yeah.
the Elsa that next turn. But right now, if you break on another ink, this is tough because you only hard stuck at 5. He missed 2 inks in a row.
Yeah,
Brutal.
we say that the benefit of anything with Sapphire is it does it faster. But when you're grinding out these kind of answers, you don't get to do the cool stuff faster. I mean, not having ink in a deck that's designed to have the answers is punishing. So
Yeah.
we're seeing that punishing here. We see the effect of long-term lack of Sapphire use. And yeah, it's not, like we said, it's not over, but this is not the boards that you want to see and not what Tim wants to see either.
Absolutely. As we go in to bring out the 1/16th Wolf, we'll go ahead and engage with that Basil there to help throw off some numbers for that support situation. Your opponent still will gain that 1. I guess it could have put on whoever, but I think that's a pretty cool spot. So now whoever you send that support to, they're only getting 1 instead. Quest with the Nala, getting up to 10. This is so much lore coming your way, and you just don't have the ink threshold to make those dynamic plays. It's just it. I mean, so you can't. The 6 ink plays, it's usually quite feeble here in the Sapphire Amethyst strategy. I think they can play the TikTok, but that can't rush. You can play, I don't know. I used to play Elsa, the ice maker, not ice, what's her name? The Elsa,
No.
Anna, the Anna,
Anna,
Anna Snowball Queen. What's her name?
You know, this is a good time to note. There's a lot of Anelzas right now. I'll be honest, and they're all the same colors. But here we go. I don't think it's that one. I think it's the one where she's got 2
Where
colors
she
and
just
she's
dual
kind of like
ink one,
holding
and
some
she gained
stuff.
support, and
Yeah, she got
that
this
one.
Yeah,
Magical Mission.
Of course, that's what we said. That
That's
was
what I
the
said.
next
What
one.
I say?
Yeah,
Magical
yeah.
Mission. That one.
Snowball lady.
They played this one for a while, and she kind of was in for a brief moment, fell out of favor, and now she potentially could come back for something to something cool to do on 6. Usually they do that, take that turn and do the Dumbo shenanigans, or maybe they'll play a double play there. As we will ready, characters are exerted. You're putting a huge questing threat onto your adversary. They are 1 ink away from that Hades, and you have to understand that. I love that play from TFM Chaotic.
Yeah, the patience in an aggro player is something that I truly, when I'm playing aggro, it's because I'm not patient, and watching people be patient is something that's really hard to teach. I've done coaching with players that are like, help me learn how to be patient. And they're like, I don't know, just be better at it. And it's very,
Yeah,
very hard to have these cards and know, oh man, I could swing for so much and say, but I'm not going to because be prepared's not around. It can't hurt me. It's not real. It's hard to see, but here we go. He's still drawing cards and
yeah.
still not the number one answers of all time.
For sure. Dumbo Exert, we're going to go making history there. Gain one, draw one. Well, that's breaking records. I'm so sorry. He's going to do it on himself. So we're going to gain one, draw one either way.
Yeah, and
Genie's going to get a little quest in for 2. Interesting on the. Oh, no, we're going to making history there as well. I'm so sorry. We're going to get the Genie exerted, gain 1, draw 1, down to 3 ink remaining. Is there anything we can do? Because I believe that's at least 10 coming back your way if you can't stop it.
yeah, and so he's got to get to working on this board because I mean, with Nala's here, that's 6, correct? Because there's no damage on it here, and
Well, Quest, give the Royal Guard another support. So Royal Guard has gained a significant bit of Oh, he pointed out we're gaming, and we will do it. Even though the battle was at 1, the numbers did align to where the Dumbo and the Genie draw is going to support the Royal Guard, and we're going to take down that Exertic Nala. Still pressuring with 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is lethal damage in play, I believe. If you can't do something, the game might come to a screeching halt.
yeah, and it's that's my favorite thing. And then I
The double hand, and there it
yeah,
is. There it is, and the brick was real. Man,
yeah.
that's brutal. Brutality incarnate there coming in from Tim Scare. You hate to see it live here in direct as your deck just going to brick there.
Yeah, and it's
Unfortunate situation.
so interesting because then people will say, "Hey, why I would have done so much better." I think it's so important to know this man is undefeated, and
Yeah.
I guarantee.